Hey everyone, today I'm going to be reviewing the Marvel Legends Retro Wave Symbiote Spider-Man from the Spider-Man 1994 TV show. So here's the look at the package. Here's the front of the package. You get a nice image of Spider-Man from, I think that's actually a comic image. You get the figure, like a big window showing the figure, all the accessories, warnings. You get Marvel Comics at the top, Spider-Man at the top. On the back, you can see all of the figures from the wave, which I'm probably not getting. If I do get any more figures from this wave, it's probably going to be one of these three. Him, probably not. But, so up at the top, you can see Symbiote Spider-Man. You get a description that, if you can read that, you can pause and go ahead. You get a description on how to switch out the accessories, and then you get the same image of Spider-Man right at the top. So, enough of looking at the box. Let's crack this figure open. And so here is the figure out of the box, and messing around with him a little bit, he's just alright. It's, second, third time that he's been released with this body mold, and it's just okay. From what I can see, there's not really a lot of, shading. I mean, it's a black figure, but there's no shading. The white paint is very nice for the most part. There is a little mess up on the eye right here, if you're able to see that, just right at the bottom. Back of the figure, very clean. The two dots are just weird still. This is supposed to be the symbiote suit, but because it's the same mold, there is the cloth type sculpt. And yes, this is the symbiote suit. I know that a lot of people have actually said that because there are no dots on the back of the hands, that it's the cloth suit, but he doesn't wear that in the show. And this is actually the symbiote suit. If I'm able to throw up an image of him web swinging with this suit on, there are no dots on the back of the hands. Most of the time, the show is very inaccurate. With Venom, half the time he doesn't have the dots on the hands. Half the time he does. But watching the show back, if I'm wrong about this, I'm going to look really stupid, but I am almost 100% sure he does not have the dots on the hands. So, getting that little rant out of the way, let's, I've looked at all the details. They're very nice. I love how the eyes on this figure look. This is something I was very excited for, just because it's a new head sculpt, and I love the raised eyes, and how glossy they looked, how glossy all of the paint looked in the promotional images, and it looked really good. But I'm not as happy as I thought I would be, and it might just be because of that head sculpt, so I might have to go and fix that up a bit. So, here's the back. This also, looking at image, I feel like this should be more refined of an image of the, something just feels really off about this spider symbol on the back. So, enough of ranting about how the figure looks and all that. Let's get into the accessories. So for accessories, the Symbiote Suit Spider-Man comes with 3 sets of hands, one of which is actually on the figure, which I did forget to take off, which is the fisted hands. These look really great. The sculpt is nice. You get to see muscles on the hands, individual fingers, which is probably should be standard with Marvel Legends. Then you get the web flipping hands. These look really great. The white doesn't bleed, the black doesn't bleed through the white. Flip it around, they move nice, no paint stuck to it. And then for the other set of hands, it's actually a set of wall crawling hands, which these 3 sets of hands should all be standard with Marvel Legends Spider-Man, every Spider-Man figure. These look absolutely great, and I'm glad that this guy came with them. Very upset that the Retro Spider-Man didn't come with them, but the Ben Reilly figure is. He comes with them. I was really contemplating thinking of picking up that MJ Spider-Man 2-pack, but I think I'll hold out. They're going to eventually release like that Spider-Man, in like a full wave or something. So now that we've gotten through the accessories, I guess let's move on to the articulation. So for the articulation on this dude, it's basically the same. It should be exactly the same as the Retro Spider-Man molds. So let me actually get this guy back a little bit. So for the head, he looks up. I think that's a little less than the Retro Spider-Man. If I can get him to stand real quick and bring him on camera. Yeah, that might be a little less. But actually, yeah, no, they're not using a hinge. I thought they were using a hinge on this figure, but they are not. This might just be my copy, but it looks like they have filled in the hole on the back, so he looks up not that great, but it's not super gappy like this guy. So he looks up that much. He looks down this much. Can crunch about that forward. Crunch back a whole lot. I feel like that might be more than the original release. For arm articulation, his arm can move out all the way. Can move in all the way. Full 360. You got butterfly joints. Very nice butterfly joints. Look how far back that goes. Crunch in, I feel like, yeah, that's just a little over 90. Horizontal hinges on the hands can go up and down. For leg articulation, they still do have the drop-down hips, but doesn't really work as well. Get a thigh swivel. Legs can kick out that far. Back just a little bit more. No, just not more, but just a little bit. Legs go in all the way, and there is a calf swivel. Feet can go down that far, up this far, and there is ankle pivot. So this new Symbiote Spider-Man figure stands at right at 6¼ inches, and getting him next to some other figures. Here he is next to the Retro Spider-Man from 2020, which they stand at the same height like they should. Here he is next to the Venom Pool Build-A-Figure Waves Carnage, or Maximum Carnage. They look great next to each other. You know, it's modified Bucky Cap mold. I'm not going to pull out that other figure from the Monster Venom wave because it's shit. It's garbage. I don't like that figure. Its legs are just dead. But this video is not about that figure. So next size comparison. Here he is next to one of the only other retro carded wave figures that I have. I think this is the only villain that I have, actually. It is the Retro Mysterio, which is a great figure. I wish Hasbro would have, like, I don't know. They need to do something with, like, at least the cape or something. Because, like, I could get him into so many fighting poses with Spider-Man, but it just doesn't work out so well sometimes because of how, like, this figure, he's fine too, but that cape does not let him stand at all. And here is the black suit Spider-Man next to the only actual Venom figure that I have in this way. Like, in general, yeah, only Venom figure I have in general. I am not picking up that Retro Venom. It doesn't look the best. You know, like, they did the red and blue, but it doesn't look great. They didn't fill in the holes in the shoulders. They should have probably used a bigger mold, too. But it's whatever. It's even like a Hasbro exclusive, so I will stick with this Venom, which looks really cool on the shelf. And one thing I did want to point out is, if you can see, that is not the lighting. That is, like, shading on the figure, the blue shade. I don't know what that's called. But there is, like, none of that on him. For this Spider-Man, he is just all black with the white paint. So, for my final thoughts on the Symbiote Spider-Man figure, I'm going to say he's just alright. You know, if you have the retro Spider-Man already, I'd definitely say, like, if you can afford this figure, because he's going from, like, a minimum of 40 to 100 right now. So, if you find him under 40, or if you want to bite the bullet for $40, I would definitely pick him up. I picked him up for $30, and I'm glad that I did, because he's going to become super rare in the coming years until they do a pinless version, which, you know, I hope they do, but this is going to be my Black Suit Spider-Man. I love this figure. I love the retro Spider-Man, like the original figure. I had so much fun posing him around, the other figure around. Like, there's a lot more possibilities with this figure. Just like the accessories that he comes with are, it's the same accessories, but he has more hands, and that is, it should be standard. But just having these, it gives you so many more possibilities to pose him, like, on the wall, making, I don't know, jazz hands. Just, like, my overall thoughts on this figure is he's great. If you can pick him up, just pick him up. It's such a great figure, and he'll look great standing next to any other figure on your shelf. So, if you enjoyed this video, I would like to say thank you for watching, and please leave a like and possibly subscribe. This is going to be my last action figure review for a while, because there's no Marvel Legends that I really want coming out right now. I will be picking up the Black Panther figure that comes out in August. That's going to be my next action figure review. But for my next video, it is going to be a collection tour. So, the 2022 action figure shelf, and possibly a bit of Legos. So, again, please leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment saying what you liked about this video, what you disliked, what I could do better. I have my links to my Instagram and Twitter in the bio, in the description, if you want to follow those and see pictures of these two Spider-Mans on my Instagram. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.